Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 of my favorite movie worlds that I just love getting lost in. Now, these won't necessarily be just one film. It could be an entire franchise because obviously a franchise kind of encompasses an entire movie world. So be sure to join me and share some of your favorite movie worlds to get lost in the comments down below while we get this intro started, and I'll share my list. Welcome once again, my name is Austin, and this channel is all about helping you to dig deeper and go further to better understand faith and film and everything that's in between. If that sounds exciting to you, make sure you click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any future content. Now, this is a video idea I've had for quite a while, and I've been working through just some of my favorite movies, my favorite movie worlds, what makes them so special and immersive, and finally I've put together my list of the 5 movie worlds that I just most love getting immersed in through the film and lost in the lore and the world and the characters, all of those elements. So let's get started with my first pick. Now, for the first pick on this list, this is actually going to be the only movie that is just a singular movie, as well as the only non-science fiction film on this list. And that's going to be Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is easily one of my favorite Tarantino movies for multiple reasons. Obviously, it's fantastic filmmaking, it has excellent performances, but the elements of the movie that I appreciate and love the most is just the immersive nature of the film and how it just picks you up and drops you into the 1960s. The music is one of my favorite aspects of the 1960s elements of this movie, as well as just the set design. There's so many scenes that we just get to sit in, we're relaxed, we're enjoying the music, we're enjoying the conversation, the characters, all that kind of stuff. And I just love the way that this movie lets you kind of fill in the world as long with the music aspects, the film aspects, all of these different things are so cool, so immersive. And though this movie is the most recent Tarantino one, because of the beautiful world and the immersive nature of it, it quickly became one of my favorites of Tarantino. So it's one of my favorite movies to just pop in and completely get lost in. Next, we have, as you know, my favorite movies of all time. So let's get this out of the way. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. I absolutely love the world of Middle-earth. It is my favorite movie world of all time for sure. There's not much I can say about the world of Middle-earth that has not already been said, but it is absolutely one of the most immersive and rich and deep historical significance and events and characters. There's just so much to this world that is just perfectly set up as the framework for any other made-up world going forward. There's so much historical significance in the world that it almost feels like true history being documented throughout the film. And I just love the immersive nature of it all, the richness of the characters and creatures of the world itself and the landscapes and the different regions. You can clearly tell how well thought out and placed all of it is. It's so well thought out and so well realized within these movies. It's absolutely beautiful, and like I said, you feel like you are actually experiencing almost a documentary style of this world that has been created, and it's absolutely beautiful, wholly immersive, and my favorite movie world, and one that I absolutely love getting lost in. Next, another one from a big old franchise here, we have the Harry Potter movies. I absolutely love the world of the Harry Potter movies, and there's so many movies in this that you get such a thorough exploration of the world, and I absolutely love it. These movies do such a fantastic job of kind of slowly and methodically introducing you to the world of magic and witchcraft and wizardry. It's so well done. We get to enter it from the eyes of a child, which is even more beautiful, I think, and we get to see it from the wonderment of a child's eyes and slowly build up the lore, the creatures, the serious stakes of the world at the same time. I think it's absolutely brilliantly done, and how they slowly kind of transition things from the kind of whimsical fun nature of the world, as well as the more serious and darker elements of it as well. There's so many great things that were just created for these movies. Even something so simple as the game of Quidditch. There's an entirely created game with rules and regulations and all of these things. It's so cool, so much fun to see realized on the screen as you're watching it. Whether it's the small village of Hogsmeade and the different areas like that, where you just get this feeling of similar to Lord of the Rings with Middle-earth richness to the world. And it's also interesting that it kind of also takes place in our world. So we get to kind of see a different perspective or point of view from the regular human look of the world. And so it's really interesting to kind of see how the two kind of clash in different areas. But I think this entire franchise has done a fantastic job of introducing us to some of the most interesting and creative characters and creatures, as well as just great world design with all around beautiful scenery. My favorite probably being the Hogwarts castle itself. It seems like it's just this endless mystery of what this castle contains, of its secret rooms and secret historical things that happen there. There's so much mystery and reverence almost to it that I just love exploring the castle of Hogwarts itself, as well as the world that it encompasses. Next, another sci-fi one for you. We have a Blade Runner 2049. This is another one of my favorite movies to just pop in and completely get lost in. The aspect of this movie I've loved most is probably just how separated it feels from our world and our society, while at the same time having those familiar characteristics and aspects at the same time. It does a beautiful job of just dropping us into this world that feels like it has hundreds of years of history and growth and development, specifically in the design of the cities. And I just think it does a great job of this establishing this world that seems to have so many complicated things happening at the same time. It's not simplistic, it's very rich and deep, and there's so many layers to it all. Even the music itself for this movie really adds to the world and just feels like kind of a perfect blend of sound design and soundtrack. There's so many moments throughout this movie, it's hard to tell the difference between the sounds of the world and the music that we're hearing for the film. It just blends perfectly as a great combination. I'm not the biggest fan of the original Blade Runner story and stuff wise, but I did really love the world that was introduced in that film, and then I love the way that it was continued in Blade Runner 2049. Just the creativity with specifically the technology of this movie is brilliant. I love just seeing the different technological advancements that have been made, whether it's through the cars, the cities, the propaganda and advertising all along the buildings, the AI robots, all this kinds of stuff. It's so interesting and so creative, and I love just getting lost in the world that has been established here. And finally, my fifth pick for movie world that I love getting lost in, I have my what might be slightly controversial pick to some people. That is James Cameron's Avatar. Now, hear me out on this one. I really think that the world of Avatar is one of the best science fiction worlds created. And for all of the, not necessarily shortcomings, but the stereotypical nature of the story of the movie in itself being somewhat familiar for us, the world of Avatar and the Na'vi and Pandora, the planet that we get to explore, that is my favorite aspect of this movie, and that is definitely the element of the movie that it seems like James Cameron got to spend the most time developing. The tribes of the Na'vi people have a rich history that is clearly just ingrained in them through the planet of Pandora in itself. The creatures, all of it just feels so connected and interpersonal. I love getting to see how each of the elements of the world, whether it's the plant and vegetation versus the animals versus the Na'vi people, all of it's so interesting to me. And I love getting to see the world just fully realized whenever I pop it in on my big old TV with surround sound. The music is fantastic and really adds to the immersion of the movie as well. I just can't wait to see what James Cameron does next in subsequent Avatar movies, because from my point of view, he had the long time that it took him to get Avatar made for the first time, and it seems like, from what I've heard, the story was had the least amount of time in development, and so he focused mostly on the world. Now, since that movie in 2009, he's had 10 plus years to really flesh out a fantastic story that I can't wait to see realized as we continue to explore new and interesting areas of Pandora that we've not yet seen. I just can't wait to see what's next in the world of Avatar, and I think Avatar, the first movie, does a fantastic job of just introducing us to this lush and rich world of Pandora, and I love getting lost in this movie. So that wraps up my list of my 5 picks for movie worlds that I just love getting lost in. I hope you enjoyed hearing my picks. Make sure, once again, to share your picks in the comments down below as maybe your thoughts on the movies and the worlds that I picked for getting lost in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks again for sticking around to the end. I'll see you in the next video.